Holy cow. What a delay. How's everything sound, guys? Does everything sound okay? Everything sound good? Everything sound okay? Here we are. We're at Crazy Jeff's Drum Emporium. Everything must go today. Everything is going. I am selling literally everything. I've got electronic drums. I've got green drums. I got clear plastic drums. I've got whatever this thing is right here. This is going to be sold too. Everything is for sale. Nothing is off limits because I'm crazy and I'm slashing prices. Slashing prices. So if you know anybody out there who's in the market for perhaps a nice used drum set, come talk to me. I'm your guy. Come talk to Crazy Jeff down at Crazy Jeff's Drum Emporium. Who we got to chat tonight? Who do we got here? Slashing prices. I'm crazy. Nothing's off limit here. Nothing is off limit. Do we got echo? We got echo. Why do we have echo? Shouldn't have echo. That's really odd. There should be no echo. No echo. This is completely unacceptable. I don't get why there's echo. Damn it, every time I think I get this thing figured out, something screws me up. And I get echo, and it doesn't make any sense. Because I've got all the monitoring off, there should be no echo. There should be none. This is impossible. There can't be echo. Somebody's got to let me know. Is there echo? Just on the intro. Okay, there's no, okay. So there's just echo on the intro music? Yeah, that's because, I know why that is. It's because... Slash the echo. Slashing the echo. That's because it's something to do with my monitoring. I thought I had it figured out. And now I don't. Apparently I don't have it figured out anymore. This is a complete catastrophe. I should probably just hang it up. But I'm not gonna. I'm gonna play some videos. I'm gonna play some videos tonight. But I am seriously, guys. I'm seriously selling all of my drums. Like everything. I'm selling it all. So if you're interested, let's start out with this guy right here. I'm selling my V drums. This is the first one to go. I haven't touched these things in probably a couple months anyway, so I really don't like them. But I am getting rid of this. This is obviously not the entire kit, but I am getting rid of my Roland TD11. It's not with the rubber pads. It's not with the mesh pads. It's not the fancy one like all you other guys have. I've got just the mesh heads on the snare drum, and then I got rubber pads on the tom. But I do have an extra crash cymbal with it, so there's that. So I'm letting that go for $600, which I think is actually a fairly good price. You'd be hard-pressed to find a used one for cheaper than that on Reverb or on eBay. I've been looking, and none of them have the extra cymbal, so I got that going for me. So if you're interested, come on down to Crazy Jeff's Drum Emporium, where we're slashing prices all the time. We're always slashing prices. So I've got to go up here to my man MJ. He's going to be my first video tonight. He's not watching right now. He's currently he's at rehearsal for his church band, because they actually practice. That's probably why they sound good. Who we got to chat tonight, by the way, before I spin this video? Let's see who we got here. Let's start at the beginning here. I got 2112 Drums, who is, I knew once he saw that there was drums for being sale, I knew 2112 would be here. He's like, like his spidey sense just kicked in. I love him. He's like a young version of me. Or he's older. I don't know. I have no idea. We never see his face. He's a mystery. He's an enigma. We have Sherry coming in from Pennsylvania, I believe. We've got my man Uzi Boo Boo Doo Doo. He's where I got the Crazy Jeff's Drum Emporium idea from. I completely stole it from him because I have no original ideas. We've got Gigi Drummer coming from Brazil. Yeah, my man Beats by Jay. Brian Corey is here. Brian, how you doing? Scrolling down. Nabil from Hungry is here. Nice. He usually doesn't get on because it's like 3 o'clock in the morning where he is. The Mash Drummer kicking in from Texas. And I think that's it. Oh, it's 2:30 a.m., he says. Ugh, man, it's early. Or it's late, depending on where you're at. Like, however you work, like, whatever it is. I don't know. But here's my man, Michael Johnson. So you're probably not going to hear the first part of this video because I screwed everything up while I was setting this all up. So just don't panic. Give me like 2 seconds, and then it'll be it. Here we go.
Existential misery. Now we're gonna need some real estate. But if I choose my words carefully, think I could fool you that I'm the guru. Wait, how do you spell epiphany? Before the truth will set you free, it'll piss you off before you find the place to be. Gonna lose the plot, too late to tell you. Could I have your attention, please? It's time to tap into your tragedy. Think you could use a new abuser. Close your eyes and listen carefully. Imagine you're stuck on a beach. Water gently lapping at your feet. But now you're sinking. Where you thinking? That's all the time we have this week. Before the truth will set you free, it'll piss you off before you find a place to be.
There we go. Damn. That's all I got to say about that is damn. That is a really cool song and a really cool drum set that he's playing. Maybe I'll buy that one. I don't know. So you guys are probably wondering, why am I selling all this stuff? Well, I'm going to tell you. I am in the market By the way, how was the sync on that song? Because it looked off on my end, but it's kind of weird, hard to tell. Frozen Fury, how you doing, my man? Good to see you. Thanks for making it. The reason I'm doing this, the reason why I am selling off all my stuff is I've been playing drums for 970,000 years. I've been playing drums for a long freaking time. And in that entire time, I've never had a top-of-the-line drum set. I've never had like a flagship drum set. I've never had a DW Collectors. I've never had a Pearl Masterworks, you know. And the closest thing I've got would be my Vista light back there. That'd be the closest thing I've ever... Jesus, so now you're going to become a monk and shit. Me? Me, a monk? Huh. Maybe I could do that. Yeah, let's see. I gotta do some. I gotta have some sort of purpose in my life. But anyways, getting back to why I'm buying this thing is I've never had, or why I'm selling all this crap, is I've never had a top of the line drum set. I've never had that flagship drum set line, and I want one. I just want one. All these years of playing on. I got good gear. I do have good drum sets. But they're not the kind where you hear them and you instantly just turn it. Michael Perry wants to know if I'm selling dope. Maybe. I could probably keep all my stuff if I did that, but we're on the internet, so I'm not really going to sell dope, just in case of any of the good people, the law enforcement community, are watching. All right. So the reason I'm doing it is let me get in the picture there. That's right. There. Am I in there? I'm getting one of these. That is a Ludwig Classic Maple in white marine pearl. Is that sexy or what? So what I'm looking at is, not this particular kit. What I'm looking at is a 22-inch, a 14 by 22-inch kick drum, 8 by 13 tom, 14 by 14 floor tom, and a 16 by 16 floor tom. So I'm going to do my standard 1 up, 2 down setup like I've always been playing, like with the Vista Light. But probably the last kit I'm going to sell. And the cool thing is I'm probably going to get this through Sweetwater. And they have... hey, Johnson Drummers here. How you doing, buddy? They have two years no interest financing. So technically I got 2 years to sell off all of my gear. So it's 2 years, same as cash. So I got 2 years to sell off all my gear, so I'm not in a super big hurry to get rid of this stuff, but the last kit I probably will sell, and I will only sell it if I have to, is if I don't have enough money to get the super classic, is this guy right here. And it's something I've never really used in any of my videos, and this is the Sling-A-Ling kit. This is a really cool drum set. I bought this off a guy. It was sitting in his basement, and he contacted me. He said, "Jeff, I see you buy drums all the time. I've got this old Sling-A-Ling kit in my basement. Would you be interested in coming and take a look at it?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'll come and take a look at it." And this is a really cool kit. If I could see if I could find the date stamp here. Well, I can't find it. But there is a date stamp in here, and it's dated like 1964. So this is a 1964. What this is would be a Sling-A-Ling stage band. And it's 3-ply drums, if you notice. 3-ply maple, or 3-ply interiors with a maple reinforcement ring. And these are interesting because a lot of people don't know is William F. Ludwig was really close with the Sling-A-Ling company. Those guys were close. They were competitors, but they were close. They were both based in Chicago. And basically the The shells on the Slingerlands are very similar. The process is almost exactly the same as the Ludwigs. So if you're in the market for a vintage drum set and you kind of want that old, really warm vintage 3-ply tone, and you don't want to spend a ton of money on Ludwigs, because Ludwigs are expensive, man. Because let's face it, if you go out and you buy a Ludwig vintage drum set looking for that 3-ply, I know I'm losing a lot of you right here, but if you want to get one of those old Ludwigs, like the old Ludwig sound with the 3-ply with the reinforcement rings, for a piece of junk, you're looking at $800 to $900 to $1,000. Where these Slingerlands, you can usually get them for $6 or $7, which reminds me, I'm slashing prices. So if the Slingerland goes up for sale, it's probably going to go up at $6. And what that is, it's the 12-inch rack tom, and it's a 16-inch floor tom, a 14 by 20-inch bass drum, which absolutely just punches. It sounds like the hammer of Thor. It's boom. I've never used it in any of my videos. And I actually have a matching snare drum, and the snare drum is actually a 6-lug snare. So I actually have an older video the first time I was going to sell this kit, because this is what I do. I buy kits and I get all hyped up. I'm going to sell them, and then I'll play them for a little while, and I'll just decide I'm going to keep it. So that's right. Sherry loves it when I'm slashing prices. Just slashing. So here's just a little sample I did like 5 years ago. You can tell by it was a while ago because I'm not fat, not near as fat as I am now. But I just made this video as a demonstration. I was probably like 3 years ago to sell this kit, and it's like a one minute drum solo. And boy, my production has come a long way since then. So let's check it out here. I don't know who that bald guy is. Who is that? I saw somebody comment in there that the video is ahead of the audio. That, man, that was back when I first, like, the first few months I was doing videos. And it was such a process because I didn't have an interface, really. I had that Behringer mixer that I think you could probably see in the background. And I was using Windows Movie Maker on a Windows 8 system, and it was bloatware. It was just locked up. It was just, making videos was a horrible experience. And for me to go and just probably make that video probably took like just 3 hours from setup and all the crap that I had to go through, you know, just trying to get the sounds good through the mixing board, because what you hear on the mixing board, or what you hear in the recording, is just coming through the mixing board. I like throw a little compression on it or whatever. And so the day I got that Behringer interface, man, that was just, everything got so much easier. I can't believe, like, I never would have stuck with this if I was using the equipment back then. Frozen Fury says, I think the video and the audio were synced. It was just the pixels that made it look out of sync, as with the crash, it locked in perfectly. That's possible. It's also possible that the just the video might have been lagging a little bit on the OBS. And Uzi says, do I hear $10 for the ball guy? I'm not that bald right now. I'm kind of letting it grow out. This is Jay. Play full price, Sherry. Right on. So, anyways, that Slingerland is for sale, but it will be the last kit I sell, and only if what I sell, I don't have enough money. $25.50, $25.50, $25.50. Do I hear $25.75, $25.75? Who'll be $25.75? If I don't have enough money to buy the super or the classic maple, because they're not cheap, man. Those are not cheap drums. We got 20 in the back of the room for the mass drummer. Right on. So, $27.99. I'm worth $27.99. $27.99. Well, Sherry, it's just to see my bald head. It's just to see my bald head. That's all it is. That's all it is. So, what do we got up next? What do we got next? What I'm going to play next? Who we got? Oh! There was a Sasquatch sighting in my basement tonight. You know what, dude? Who cares if you can't play the drums? It's easy. Drums aren't that hard. It's a big secret, man. Everybody thinks drums are hard. They're not. It's really not that hard. It's really actually pretty easy. You just got to deal with guitar players yelling at you all the time for messing up the tempo. But other than that, it's pretty easy. So here's my man, Tony. Tony, the Himalayan monster, the Sasquatchy dude. And once again, there's going to be no audio at the beginning. Don't panic. I will fix it as fast as I can. Here's Tony doing some Van Halen. Oops, he dropped his stick. Tony dropped his stick. That's my man, Tony from the All Classic Drummers Den. Love Van Halen. Did you guys hear the rumors that actually Van Halen is probably, maybe, hopefully gonna tour with the original lineup? I really hope so. I never got to see Van Halen with Michael, Eddie, Alex, and Dave. I was too young. I think I was 11 years old when Dave was fired or quit or whatever. So who knows what he did? I think he quit, but he got fired because he wanted to. I don't know. They just didn't like each other. It's Van Halen. Those guys did not like each other. All right, so I'm gonna post up a pic here of the next kit I'm selling. This one is currently for sale as well. But this is going to have a guitar player who's kind of famous to other guitar players. Not so much to drummers. Drummers really don't know who this guy is. But if you're a guitar player, you might have watched one of his instructional videos. It's kind of hard to see. He's a little cut off in the picture because I wanted to block him out. And then I saw Frozen Fury was in here. I'm like, oh, he might know who this is. I'll give you a hint. He wears a wig, and he plays two necks at the same time. And I will just do. He wears a wig and plays two guitars at the same two necks. Like he plays like a quadruple neck guitar. He is probably one of the fastest guitar players in the world. Frozen, do you know who that guy is? Yes, Michelangelo Badio. That is correct. Michelangelo Badio. He played with Holland, the guy Holland I played with, who I had on my show and I interviewed. Tommy kind of discovered Badio like 25 years ago or whatever it was, and I was in this picture. I was playing in this picture right here. I was playing with Holland, and we're playing, and I see this guy out in the crowd. I'm like, God, that looks like Badio. And I'm like, oh, my God, that is Badio. And all of a sudden, I got, like, a little nervous because, like, we're doing these Holland songs, and here's the guy that played and all that stuff. And he got up, and he did Wake Up the Neighborhood with us. And holy shit, is he fast, man. Oh, my gosh, is he fast. Like, you never – you wouldn't – if you didn't see it in person, you wouldn't believe it. Like, how incredibly fast he plays the guitar. I don't know if he can bend a note. But he's really fast. Oh, the drum set anyway. Here we go. Look at this guy. Look at that handsome devil. I look like a cop. He is nuts. He is. I look like a cop playing drums. That's just not a good look for me. This is not a DW. And don't yell at me. I didn't put the DW head on it. This is a PDP MXR. I know a lot of guys... They give other drummers crap. Oh, put DW heads on the PDP kit. Well, mine came with these heads. Mine shipped with the DW heads on it. These are fantastic drums. And they can be had for literally a song. They don't go for a ton of money. I'm going to sell this one for $500. And for $500, this is Officer Sanka. Who's people would do who calls me Officer Sanka? I don't have these in my house right now, or I'd hold one up. But what they are is these are the PDP MXRs, and they were made in Mexico. These aren't the Chinese PDPs. So when DW first ramped up production of Pacific Drums and Percussion, they made all the drums in Ensenada, Mexico, and I want to say that they were the same shells as the what was the lower end DW kits? Not the collectors, but I don't know. I want to say they're the same shells. These drums sound awesome. Like they sound really good, and I hardly ever play them. And every time I sit down to play this particular set is that they're just at a rehearsal studio that I sometimes practice at, and every time I sit down, I marveled at how good these drums sound. Now, all these drum sets I'm showing right now are, I will ship them. I would rather not, but I will. And if anybody's watching or anybody watches the replay of this show, I will not ship direct. I will have to set something up through Reverb because it's actually not a DW kit. It's a Pacific, and I didn't put DW heads on it. That's how it came. That's because German Joey is actually here. So hi, Joey, how you doing, buddy? He says that's a sick looking DW kit, and it's like a pet peeve of mine when guys try to pass off their PDPs as DWs because there's like a $3,000 price difference between the two. They aren't the same drums, but I didn't put that on there. It's how it's shipped from the factory. But like I was saying before, I will ship any of these drums, but I'll have to set something up. Most likely I would sell through Reverb just because the shipping discount is really, really nice on Reverb. You can ship a drum set pretty much anywhere in the country for, less than $100. Like usually it depending how big the kit is, sometimes 60, sometimes 50 or 60, depending on where it's going. Who we got up next? Who we got? Oh, got my man, Stephen Cox, doing some Wild Side by Motley Crue. And once again, be patient. There's going to be no sound in the beginning. I got to fix it. my man, Stephen Cox Crew. I remember when this video came out when I was in 8th grade. I thought that was the coolest thing. Just back when rock and roll was dangerous. Back before the Adam Levines of the world took over and freaking guy tries to pass himself off as a rock guy. Makes me sick. Makes me absolutely sick. I actually think I had my first like boy girl thing too for those two girls that were singing backups on that show. Back when rock and roll was dangerous. I remember who was telling me was in the, talking in the chat about seeing Motley Crue. Who said it? Yeah, Jay had said he's never seen Motley Crue. I actually was at a Motley Crue show, and at the show, you've probably seen the show that I was at on MTV. It wasn't that show. It was the Stars and Guitars tour at Alpine Valley in 1990, I want to say. It was 1990, I think. It was Motley Crue, Joe Satriani. God, who else was on that bill? It was a Great White. I just remember Motley Crue, but Motley Crue filmed the video for Same Old Situation that night. I was at that show. So I got that going for me. The next kit up for sale is one you're all familiar with. You've all seen it in all of my videos. Not all my videos, but most of my videos. If you've been following my channel for the past year, you've seen this kit right here. The green sparkle. Like Stephen Riley would say, I got a green sparkle drum kit. Because he's from Boston. This is a rocker too. This is a early 80s rocker too. Now, rockers get a bad rap because people think of rockers. Oh, that's right. Uzi wants to know. He hasn't seen it in a while. I'm slashing prices. The rockers get a bad rap because the Green Lantern. Yes, rockers get a bad. Masked Drummer calls it the Green Lantern. The rockers get a bad rap because the rockers that came out in the late 80s, actually the mid to late 80s, and after are garbage. They're not good drums. They're made in Japan, or not even Japan. They're made in China, and they're what's known as a stencil drum, where they're the same like you see like these cheap, crappy SPL percussion drum sets or whatever. Essentially, they're the same shells. They just slap the Ludwig name on them, a Ludwig badge on them, and call it a Ludwig. It's not a Ludwig. This right here is a genuine Ludwig drum. If you look at the interior, right here, see how it's got that spackle look to it? I don't know if you can see it in the camera. The reason is these are the same shells. These are the same 7-ply shells, I believe. Now, nobody's actually confirmed this. I've done a lot of research on, so I may be talking out of my ass here. That's a very good possibility. But from what I understand, these are the exact same shells that Ludwig used in the 1980s on all their high-end drums. But the only difference being is they were what's known as factory seconds or flaws. So they take these interiors. If you look like a drum from a high-end drum kit, like the interior of the drum, this guy right here, the interior of the drum is actually just wood. When these guys came out, or they were in a factory and they came out of molds or whatever, there'd be imperfections. So they would take this coating, this like hard, I don't even know what it is, and they would spray that on the interior to hide the flaws in the drum, and they'd slap this cheaper hardware on it because this hardware is the big downfall of these drum sets is the hardware. These lugs can break easy if you're not careful with them. They're not die-cast metal. They're cheap like pot metal or whatever. But they would put this cheaper hardware on it and sell it as a rocker. And they put like less lugs on the bass drum. But these essentially are the same drums, and they sound fantastic. You guys have heard these on Granatone, thank you, Dino. Granatone. Now, Dino, do you know, am I right about this? Are these the same 5-ply or 7? I think they're 5-ply. The maple. Are they the same 5-ply maple drums that as Ludwig was putting out in the 1970s? I want to say they are. I think there's no difference between the two. As far as I know, they're the same. But they put this hardware on, and the hardware's cheaper and it's lighter. Okay, Dino says, yeah, it's 6-ply. Yeah, 6-plies. Okay, yeah, right, 6-ply shells. But you guys have heard these in my videos. There's nothing wrong with the way those drums sound. They sound really good. They sound fantastic. Like the one issue is the cheaper hardware. So this guy is for sale. And if you want a killer drum set at a reasonably good price, I can't recommend it. Like I tell kids all the time, kids that I'm teaching at school, I tell them, if they're looking for a drum set, I say I tell their parents, don't go out and buy a new one. Talk to me first. And I will look for one of these USA Ludwig made rockers on Craigslist or whatever. Because a lot of times you can find them really cheap. Really cheap. So this guy right here, I'm selling for $400. It's rewrapped in the green sparkle. This isn't the original color. I rewrapped it myself. I can tell you right now, I have more than $400 in on this drum set. With the heads and the I want to say the wrap was like $250, and then I had to put heads on it. So, I mean, I got more than $100 or $400 in on this drum set. So it's a good deal. $400. It's a 8x12, 9x13, 16x16, 14x22 bass drum. The only flaw in this drum set, as far as I'm concerned, is the bass drum spurs are not really good. But I've gigged with this kit. I've taken it out on gigs. You see it. It sits in my basement. I've played countless drum covers on it. I've never had an issue with the spurs bugging out on me. I mean, they work. They do the job. They really do the job well. So it's not a bad deal. It's actually a really good deal. It's a really good deal. Like, I can't believe I'm letting that drum kit go for that much money, but the fact is you can't get much more. And if it didn't look the way it did, I wouldn't even ask $400 for it. I would probably ask more like $300. But it looks really good. It's a pretty drum set, and people comment on it all the time. And you're not going to find a green sparkle Ludwig for $400. You're just not. You're not going to find a green sparkle 6-ply maple shell Ludwig drum set for $600. You're not. You could look for or $400. I'm sorry. You could look for the rest of your life, and it's not going to happen because I'm slashing prices. I'm slashing prices. Now, when I asked Jay today, I sent him a message. I said, "Hey, what song I'm going to put you on the show tonight? It's your big break, kid. It's your big break, kid. I'm going to put you on the show tonight. What song do you want me to play?" And he said, "Surprise me." So, Jay, here it is, Jay. I'm going to surprise you right here. Not that one. Don't do that. Oh, what am I doing? Ah, shoot. Okay. All right, we're good. We're good. All right, here we go. Having issues because I switched stuff around. That's not gonna work. We gotta go down here. Let's try this again. Jay, you gotta go up here. Jay, you gotta be there. Okay, there's Jay. All right, let's try this again. Peace by Jay, ladies and gentlemen. love that song. I love that song. It's such a cool song. Such a really good album. Such a cool album. I think I did that at a lip sync in high school. We all got the instruments out and wore wigs, and I didn't want to play drums because I play drums all the time. I wanted to play guitar. I wanted to be one of the cool guys up front. So I had my wig on, and I'm headbanging, at the end. I was Danny Spitz, and so my wig flew off and landed on the bass player's headstock. So that was my antisocial experience. Next kit on the market is one I don't think any of you guys have seen in any of my videos. I've had this kit for quite a while. It's a 1970s. What was a mixture? It's a Rogers Big R. So if you guys don't know Rogers drums, Rogers drums in the 60s were basically like DW is now. There's super expensive, the best drums you could buy. All the best, a lot of the jazz guys played them. They're really good drums. And I want to say back in like the 1960s, I think it was the Louis Bellson outfit. So it was like two 14 by 24 kick drums, a 10 by 14 rack, and like two 16 by 16 floor toms. That drum set in like 1967 cost $2,000. Like adjusted for inflation, it's crazy money back then. It was like $1,998 or something like that was the list on it. And if you adjust for inflation, that's like 10 grand now. So they were really expensive drums. They kind of fell off in quality in the 1970s and 80s, and eventually they went out of business. They're back now, but Rogers is back in a big way. Dixon Percussion bought them, and they brought back the Dynasonic snare drum, which is like a $700 snare drum. If you want to buy one, I mean, that's a lot of money for a snare drum, dude. It's a lot of money. So this kit right here is a Rogers Big R. Now this would have been early 1970s, 75, 76, and that would be the floor tom and the bass drum. The rack tom would be a Fullerton tom, so that would be probably from like 71. It's a 972. So this is all Greek to you guys, I know. But it would be like an early 1970s. So the rack tom is older than the bass drum and the floor tom, but they're all in New England white. This is the best sounding kit I own. Hands down, it is the best sounding drum set I own. I bought this drum set from a guy in Madison, Wisconsin, like 4 or 5 years ago. I'm not joking. I have never tuned this drum set. I bought it. They were in tune when I got it. I hit it. I'm like, these drums sound incredible. I've never tuned them. Yeah, Michael was playing a Truth kit in that first video. No, Truth is a boutique drum manufacturer. They're expensive drums. I want to say they're very similar based on what I know. They're similar in construction to the Ludwig Club Date. They get the same single lug, double-sided single lug, and I think their bearing edges are very similar. It's more of a round over bearing edge. Don't quote me on this. Like I said, I could be talking out my ass. So no, it's not a Rogers. Rogers I don't have the drums here. They're at a friend's house because I don't have enough room in my basement. I mean, irregardless, if I wasn't saving up to or selling all this stuff up to get a classic maple, I would have to be getting rid of some of these kits because I have way too many drum sets. But the Rogers are 5-ply. So if you look at the Slingerland, I know this is Drum History 101. This is a 3-ply with a maple re-ring, okay? The Rogers are 5-ply with a reinforcement ring, okay? Really good sounding drums. Like I said, I'm not joking. When I say I never tune those drums, I never tune these drums. So I'm gonna got something in the way back machine from my YouTube channel. Like one of the first videos I ever put up on YouTube, and you can see by how skinny. Well, actually, no, you can't even see my face in this one. You can't even see this face. But the production value of this video is some of my best work. Really, truly is. You guys are going to be really impressed. From the... Joe says, you can talk out your ass all you want. The other drummers aren't here. You could tell me that Ringo himself built these kits, and I'd believe you. Ringo didn't build these kits. Ringo didn't build the kit. There's this nasty, like, not to get off on a different subject, but there's this rumor going around. It's been going around for 20 years, 30 years, something like that, that Ringo didn't play drums on the Beatles albums. And that Bernard Purdie actually started this rumor. And I love Bernard Purdie. He's one of the greatest drummers ever to live. But I got news for you, conspiracy theorists, okay? Man really did land on the moon. Oswald acted alone. 9/11 was not an inside job. And last but not least, Bernard Purdie never played drums on a Beatles record. It never happened. And there's actually a perfectly logical explanation for this. If you guys search for a video called Replacing Ringo, and it actually makes a lot of sense. I think I brought this up earlier in my influences video, but Pete Best was not a very good drummer. And the Beatles' early stuff was released on a different label. It wasn't released on Capitol. It was like somebody owned the rights for it. A different label owned the rights for it in England, and they released that stuff in America. Well, Pete Best was not good. He was just not a very good drummer. And Pete Best played on those original recordings. So the theory is that Bernard Purdie actually played over Pete Best's recordings and cleaned that up. But actually, I'm getting off topic right here. So let's get to the Rogers drum set. This guy right here, it's like I said, it's a 1970s Rogers kit in New England white. Everything is there. There are 4 extra holes in the bass drum though, but it does not affect the sound. So let's take a look at this video right here. And bear with me on the sound thing. I will get it going as fast as I can. Listen to those toms. So warm. Now you notice, it's the production value. The production value is A1, man. It's some of my best work. Some of my best work. You notice there's no hole in the bass drum. That's how I like my bass drums to sound. I prefer that sound. I love that sound, that big, full, open bass drum sound. It sounds killer. Those drums sound killer. Dino, those are 14 by 22 kick drum, 8 by 12. Oh, shoot, is it an 8 by 12 or is it a 9 by 13? At least I don't have the drums in front of me, so I think it's I know what? I think it's a 9 by 13 and then a 16 by 16 rack. Yeah, man, those drums sound fantastic. They sound incredible. And I'm not joking. I have never once, since I've owned them, since I bought those drums 4 years ago, I've never tuned them. Not once. I've never taken a drum key to those drums. I mean, they sound incredible, man. Those I'm going to sell for $400. So if you're looking for a vintage drum set, and you're looking probably anywhere in the continental United States, because it's small and it's light, you're probably looking at about $450 shipped. So it's not a bad. And man, those drums sound good. They sound really good, and they're built like freaking tanks too, man. If you look at the, let me bring that video back up real quick. But look at those bass drum legs. They look like fence posts, man. Those things, not moving. I mean, this is really, really high quality drum equipment, you know. And this is the 1970s, man. If you look like these floor tom legs, they lock in, they don't slip. It's not like the other vintage stuff. Like the Rogers stuff was just made way better. It was made way better than anything else that was coming out at that time. And it's really a shame what happened to that company, because they were making some of the best drums ever made. I mean, simply put, they were some of the best drums ever made. All right, the last one on the list. This one's going to disappoint everybody. Yep, it's going up. The Vista Light's going up. All right, so the specs on that drum are a 14 by 22 or 14 by 20. I'm sorry, it's a Pro Beat, so it's a 14 by 24 kick drum. Now I only play a one-up set, or I only play a one-up on this one, you know, my videos, but I do have the other tom. So a 9 by 13 rack tom, 10 by 14 rack tom, and I do have the tom mount for it. 16 by 16 floor tom, and a 16 by 18 floor tom. Pricing on this guy, it's going to be way more than the other ones. I'm looking at probably 11. I'm looking at 11 on that thing. Yeah, I'm selling the Vista Light, Jay. I don't. Here's the thing. I love this drum set. I love it. I love it. I love it. And but the problem with it is I can't use it for what I do. I can't use it for much more than my Judas Priest gig. Okay, let's face it, a Vista Light does not fit with a Judas Priest tribute band. But that's really the only gig I play that I can use it for, because it's not really versatile. It's not a versatile drum kit. It's loud. It sounds killer. It looks awesome. And I really do love it. But it's time for me to move on. It just is. You know, yeah, 1100 is, I'm about in line. I was going to say 12 to 14, but because I'm not selling a snare drum. Now, if you were to part, Dino says, yeah, 1100 is cheap. But if you were to part this thing out, okay, that 18-inch floor tom is 400 all day by itself. That's $400 all day by itself. On the low end, I could put that up on eBay. If I put it up for 400, it would be gone within a day. I would ask $5 probably for it. The 16, I've done my research on these things. The 16 is by itself is probably three. The bass drum's probably about 5. And the two toms are probably about 200 a piece. All right, so obviously that's over 1100. But I'm really weird about selling stuff like this. And trust me, if it goes up on Reverb, it's going up for 15 to 17. Which I probably will end up putting it on Reverb. But I'm really weird, especially about something like this, which it's everything on that kit is factory matched. Okay. I actually did have the original snare drum for it too. I'm slashing prices. I had the 5x14 snare drum. Horrible sounding snare drum. It just sounded awful. I sold that to a guy in Japan for like $300. I think after shipping and import fees and everything, I think it ended up costing him like $550. And it's not a good sounding snare drum. It's just the Vista Light snare drums are, man, they don't sound good. They do one thing really well. You're right. I probably could. If I put it up on Reverb, I'm going to ask 15. Probably, because Reverb seems to get it. And this is going to be the very last thing I sell. Because more than likely I'm going to put the order in, and it's going to be 5 or 6 months before I even get the drum set. So this will be the last one to go. I've been toying like, do I want to sell the Sling-A-Lin first and then the Vista Lite? Because the Sling-A-Lin, I'm looking at probably about $600 to $700 for it. Anybody watching this today, I'll sell it to you guys for $6. I'm going to ask $7. So, you know, it's a blue. Other thing too, Dino, is it's blue. It's blue, so it's the most common Vista Lite color. If this was an amber, we're looking at 22 or 23. If it's like a red, we're probably looking at 18 or 19 easy. But it's blue. You know, it's really common. Everybody had blue. Beats by Jason, I swear to God, if I could, I would buy that thing and give you the option to buy it back. I just can't afford it. Yeah, I know, man. I hate to see it go. I really do, but I think it's time to move on. It's time for me to move on. So, that being said, I don't want to bring things down, but some of you guys that know or are friends with me on Facebook probably had heard this. My dad passed away on last Monday. And don't get all weird. Nobody get all weird about this, because I've had just my fill of people coming up to me and saying condolences and all that. He was probably, and this is a picture. Look at him. He's a good-looking guy. We look just exactly alike. I mean, this is him when he was in the Navy. He was like probably my biggest fan. I've said it before. Like I started out playing piano when I was like 8 or 9, and I always wanted to play drums. And I talked to my mom and just like beg her, like, gosh, I want to play drums. I hate piano. And finally they gave in and they let me play drums. I want to say that he might have had something to do with it. I don't, to this day, I don't know. But I think he might have had something to do with it. And he had Alzheimer's, and, you know, for the first, when it first like really started taking hold, he'd ask, like, I'd go over it. He would ask me all the time, where are you playing? He always, and it was the same question over and over again. And I mean, laugh, but it was, it was the same question. He'd be like, where are you playing? And I would tell him, and you know, 5 minutes later, where are you playing? But he was always really interested in what I was doing, and he was always my biggest fan. So he never really liked the rock stuff. My dad liked jazz, and he liked Johnny Cash and things like that. So the last video here, it's kind of a salute to my old man for putting up with me being in the next room. This is another thing. I don't know how he did this, man. He would what the hell, did I lose signal here? Did I lose? What the hell happened? We got a picture? Okay. I don't know, I thought we lost it. He would sit in I had, like, in my parents' house downstairs, there was a spare bedroom, and I had my drum set up in there, and he would he'd be next door watching TV, and I'd be in the next room playing all of 2112. Like all 23 minutes or whatever it was. And like, I didn't get it. I'd go back and I'd do it again. And he would just sit there and he would just watch TV. He never complained. He never came in and told me to stop. So, like I said, he dealt with the rock stuff, but he liked jazz. So, the last video I'm going to play tonight is me doing Sing, Sing, Sing. And that's all I got to say about that. Night, guys.